Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic day, wherever you are around the world. And welcome back to yet another Liverpool news episode for you guys. Of course, normally, when international break is here, normally silly season is back just for a little bit before, of course, the big shebang in January. We get all the news and all, of course, the topics to talk about. But there is a little bit of news concerning Liverpool and the transfer window as well. Anyway, but as you can see, I'm joined by a very special guest with Jack from the Anfield Road TV. Jack, how you doing, mate?
Far from special guest, lads. I'm just me, lads. But nice one for the introduction, lad. And yeah, not too bad, mate. Hope you're all well. And the dreaded international break awaits us. But pretty sure Con and me and the lads will have plenty of content over the next 2 weeks. Tie us over. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, mate. And it should be a good show tonight. It'll be interesting to get your thoughts as well, mate. And I've got some choice words on Leroy Sane anyway, like.
Yeah, well, of course, we are going to talk about three topics in particular tonight. Of course, we are going to discuss Liverpool being linked with a teenager, practically from Leeds United. Of course, Archie Gray being linked to Liverpool for around £14 million, which we are going to discuss in tonight's episode. As Jack alluded to as well, we are going to talk about Leroy Sane. Reports coming out of Germany suggest that it could be a three-way battle for the German international signing, and Liverpool being linked with a left back. Yes, Wolves. Rayan, I want to call him Ryan, but of course it's Rayan Ait-Nouri. You guys will know who he is. Of course, had a good game against Spurs last time out in the Premier League. But yeah, a very interesting link as well, which I think it does look an intriguing profile. I think, especially for what Liverpool may need going forward in that left back role, or left-sided centre back role, however you want to, put your own twist on it. But of course, we will talk all about that in today's video as well. But if anyone is in the comments as well, let us know your guys' thoughts on everything that we do mention as well. And of course, thank you, Tom, saying yes, the fellas. And late, yeah, we were late. We are going to be joined as well by Spider as well. He will be on shortly as well. And yeah, hopefully we'll get his thoughts as well on a few things tonight as well. And of course, if any of you guys want to talk about anything as well, it's probably going to end up one of these weird streams where we just ramble about a topic for about an hour. And yeah, it'll just turn into chaos by the end of it anyway. But we will get on to our first topic, and we are going to jump straight in to Archie Gray. Of course, has been linked with a move to Liverpool for around £40 million. Again, I don't know much about him. Just taking a quick look at his stats quite briefly. Only 15 professional games played, as far as I could tell. Again, can play in a versatile of positions. Again, we know Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp loves the versatile players, of course. Can play DM, can play centre mid, and he can also play right back. So I'm just saying, footy manager regen of James Milner, potentially, Jack.
Oh, well, that's it. Always all snap your hand off, mate, if he was half as good as James Milner and he had the longevity and if he stayed fit. But it's one of them, mate, and I'm not necessarily saying I've seen a lot of them, but if you look at the data, obviously just added 2 more appearances on that con. I think he's made 2 more appearances in the EFL Cup. As you alluded to, his positions, predominantly a central midfielder anyway at heart, and then as you alluded to, can play in those attacking areas and the defensive areas, but he's predominantly more of a balanced central midfielder. 17 years old. We know Leeds, as you alluded to, with Milner, and the list is endless with the quality that they've brought through at their football club. They got a habit of bringing them in, selling them for quite high as well. And speaking of ex-Leeds players, there's one.
But, lads.
How are we?
From my sins, but I used to wear a Liverpool t-shirt underneath it. You're all right.
There we go. But yeah, if we did get linked, if he's linked, but I think as we were speaking before we come on air, mate, the valuation that you'll probably mention now is like 40 million. That's crazy money, mate. Like if it was like 15, 10 million, then sounds. But I think that valuation from Leeds, and I get he's their player, and they might rate him quite highly, but for a lad that's only played 17 senior appearances for Leeds, that's quite staggering for me, mate.
Jack, if I can jump in on that, surely they've learned their lesson from dealing with what's his name that went to Chelsea from Southampton. That we won't pay that money. Lavia, we won't pay that money for a fella that's only played. If he hasn't played a whole season, we're not going to pay 50 million for him. Liverpool wanted him for 25 to 27 million. Then probably add-ons that you'd see for the next few seasons. If he does anything well, if he wins a trophy, if he wins something, they'd see money back. But Leeds are ridiculous in what their evaluation is of a player so young. It makes no sense.
I think it's funny though, and I think I said this off stream. They've sold 2 players for over 40 million in their history, and that is Rafinha and Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
both of them very experienced. Again, Rafinha going to Barcelona, obviously Calvin Phillips going to the bench at Manchester City. But it's very surprising that bid or like that sort of money just jumped out. I think Neil Jones spoke on Redmond that Liverpool could be interested, and he fits the profile of a Liverpool player. But at £40 million, you're never going to get a deal sorted for that.
Yeah, I was going to say, lads, the maddest one that we've had in recent years is Seth Vanderberg. We know he's out currently on loan, playing quite well in the Bundesliga. I think it is but he's actually getting a couple of games, really, which is good to see. Obviously, back from that big injury in which he did have last year at Preston. So it's one of them, lads. I think you will see this quite prominently in relation to certain clubs, especially the big teams in the Championship. Obviously, with the parachute payments will, of course, have already kicked in. But yeah, you look at the buying, we're speaking about 30-40 million pound players. Obviously, was it the German lad they bought from, was it Hoffenheim for like 30 odd million? Rutter, is it?
Ruster, was it?
Rutter or where was he was shocking in the Prem, but I think he's been getting a couple of goals. But it's one of them, mate. I think
we just got Gravenberch for 34.7 million. There's no way some young fella is 40 million quid. Yeah. Sorry, 34.7 million euros or something it was. So there's no way we're paying 40 million quid.
Especially with us haggling, as you alluded to before, Kev, with with Lavia.
But we're tight. Liverpool are cheap.
For as much as that does annoy certain sections of our fan base. But we're business. It's business at the end of the day.
You look at the Andre, you look at Andre though.
Sorry.
Like that whole deal with Andre, like I think he's only played like 52 league games.
Yeah, but apparently that's not even a thing. Liverpool weren't interested at all, and that's just come out of like the woodwork. That Liverpool had zero interest and all of that, and apparently that it's just been like hearsay here and hearsay there, and he was scouted, but that was it. There was no offer made, there was no thing made, there was no anything made, and it was just a way for the club to try and get money from the likes of
South American teams.
From teams like, as you know, teams that have money backing, which is Fulham. Fulham have got money, and these kind of teams that will come in and spend. The Wolves have money that will come in and spend 40 million on a player that they probably would only get about 8 to 13 million off of if he'd have left there for the first time to a lower club. So and they wouldn't see any dividends out of it. 20% still wouldn't even bring him up to 20 mil. So.
I'm trying to think of a Brazilian lads that we were linked with, or a South American player that we were linked with years ago, and then he just randomly went to a Prem team. Jack, you probably know anyway. Well, William, that fraud. Don't get me started on him.
But that was Roman Abramovich was under investigation, including that deal. Yeah. So there was big payments made there to William. So
I wonder though if they do get caught, because there must be more than one signing.
Mate, if they get done, them and Everton before City, I am finished. I will be on live stream 24/7 a day.
We all know that City are going to get done. I think City are going to get done. The difference is there's 115 charges. Everton have like 1 to 2. That can be dealt with really quickly. It's looked over. It's one section of it. These lads have to go. They have to deal with City's lawyers for one thing that are trying to put over the red tape. But they have to look at every single one of those to the highest extent they can. It's going to take 2 to 3 years.
Thing is, I always go back to this. Even though they got away with the UEFA ban, what was it, 3 years ago now?
It was time barred, that one.
But even still, they were charged. They were guilty. Like they still got fined massive amount of money.
But they can't go to the court of arbitration.
No,
it's not allowed for Premier League.
The differences between UEFA and the Premier League is the Premier League are supposedly willing to go back as far as 2009 or whenever it was. The UEFA aren't. Like UEFA, I think it's like they said, unless it's within a 2-year period, we don't really fight those cases because it's too much money and too much hassle. And that's why City got away with it then. If they, and that's the thing, what is the correct punishment for that then? All of us have the right answer and get rid of them.
Liquidate them. Yeah.
Well, no, if they've been found guilty of that many charges, there's only one outcome, and it's not disband the club or do anything like that. They'll be dropped down to the lowest division of English football. They'll be stripped of their titles. It'll be given to the people that were within points. So they might have to. So they can't do anything about European places right now. But they can calculate points. There'll be money stripped. They'll be fined the amount of money that they were awarded, up to I think maybe 72% of what they were awarded, and then it would have to be split amongst the teams that lost out on placement money. And there's loads of factors in this.
Opens up a can of worms, though.
Yeah.
Like you think about relegation teams that have.
But the rules are in place for that, Jack. So these rules are in place for that, and we have to give the FA and the Premier League credit if they're going to go after them. The only people that are going to try and stop this from happening are your TV companies, the people that have invested money to see these teams play. They're the red tape for all of this. These are the guys that are, the journalists that have their hands in, that are being paid directly from these clubs to give out the best information. All of these kind of things. These guys are the ones who are going to miss out. These are the guys who are going to try and change the information as it goes along. But you need to see past them and just go directly from avoid the court of arbitration. That's not going to happen. So you have to go directly from the actual club to the governing body, and then that's it. But 115 charges, you can't have 115 charges and not be guilty of 10 of them, and 10 of them could get them knocked down a division or two. So if 115 are there, they're getting dropped down completely down. They're going to be given probably points per season that they're done. They could end up in non-league for a while. They might have to cancel the team, redo it, and come back into the league as a new team. There's loads of stuff that can happen, So look, I feel sorry for the City fans that have been there for the longest time.
Main road.
The main road heads, and I feel sorry for them. They're the ones that are going to feel it the most. The new guys aren't. They're kids. They've been supporting them funny for the last few years. None of these are going to feel the pinch. If that team disbands, are they going to be loyal? I don't think so. They'll change over, saying, "No, I'm not going to follow a team that cheats," and that's their excuse to get away from the City. So and this is where it works out. But City will come back. The owners might jump ship, but at the end of the day, they will have ruined the club that they tried to make successful by the wrong way. And they had the money to do it right. Before all of these rules were brought into place, they were doing it right. So maybe they mightn't get done for the early days. They might get done for something maybe with a Robinho deal. They might get something done for later than that. But I think mainly from about 2012 onwards, I think they'll get done for a lot.
When they were buying Jorge Santa Cruz for what? North of 25 million. Benjani's, Joe's, the list goes on. It's like Sammy and Nasri's as well, cliches. Like you think about the amount of dross that they've spent on them. Obviously, the City fans go, they won a couple of titles and all that, but like that. I say for every charge that they have is a year banned in a transfer market for me.
But we also know as well is the fact that like even now when they come out yesterday and was like, we got record breaking revenues for the year, and like we got
700 million.
Yeah,
that makes zero sense to me, man.
Fair enough, they won the treble, but like I look at it and I'm like, you see I think there's a website you can go on where you can see all the companies linked with clubs and that, and half of them on City's lot looks. I genuinely think that slot could make better companies than that.
They're less than 18 months old.
Yeah, half of them. Like you click on the Indeed profiles and they've got like two people working for them. Like unless you're Billy the Wiz.
They're literally, and this is why the FA and the Premier League are so angry about it, because they're saying you're calling us and the fans idiots. by saying that you can do it like this. So they're pretty much saying, oh no, we put it in the books as legit, but then we've only got 2 people, but they also work for the company, which is owned by one of our companies, which is owned by that. So they've gotten just like scapegoats everywhere to take the fall for them.
Offshore.
And it's disgusting.
Companies, isn't it? Offshore
it's
companies.
The same. It's you know, I mean, insider trading can get you done and banned for life. It can get you 20 odd years in prison. So what this is pretty much the opposite of that, because you have control of the trading, you know. So it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's not.
Look at was it the Spurs?
The Italian lads?
The part owner that got done for insider trading. I think, what was it, like a couple of months ago now? And that could still have a big effect on Spurs going forward.
It's one of them boys, isn't it? Like, it's I think at the end of the day, like as Kev alluded to, like the proper City fans that have been there for years, and it'd be disappointing.
That's what I feel sorry for.
But you'll see them go down, but they'll still be there. Like, they will still be there as well.
They were there when they went to the 3rd division that time, Jack.
Yeah,
they were still there.
Yeah. So they'll be back anyway. Yeah, but 100%. Yeah, we just want a level playing field. And the fact that you're telling me, boys and chats, we've got a club making more revenue than Real Madrid and Man United. No.
And even us, Jack. No offense to these, like they're big clubs, right? And they've got bigger stadiums and whatever like that. But Liverpool have been the hottest property in the last 5 years anywhere. And we broke a record 3 seasons ago for making 100 million profit in the Premier League, right? 100 million profit on top of whatever we were doing. But yet they've smashed that in 1 season at 300 million. How? Right, let's take it this way. Let's take the 100 and odd million out of that from the Champions League money that went into it, right? That they've just won. So that's the revenue. That's knocked that down by half. Where's the rest of it?
And then you tie into Haaland's wages as well, just off one player. Like,
well,
he's getting, what, 600, 700, 800 million?
No, it's $1 million a week.
Yeah.
$1 million a week?
It's $1 million a week. For
900,000 if he scores a goal. If he scores more than two, it's
$1 million now because they won the treble. They give them bonuses, which puts Haaland's up to, I think, $1 million a week. I think that they reported on the summer.
And I actually feel sorry for these players as well, because I don't feel sorry for the fact that they're making the money and they made the wrong choice to do that, but I'm just waiting for the day that that players go to clubs because of history and not because of money, and bring it back. Because I mean, United used to be able to bring players in, but they'd only be on 120,000 a week, and that was like big money then. Like it's gone of the days that, I mean, I think Liverpool back in the day were an expensive spending side as well. You know, back in the 70s and 80s. And they'd spend a few grand in it, but I mean, it was easily done. But back then, you know, the players would only see 10% of what the club was bringing in.
Yeah.
So, you know, whereas now the players are seeing pretty much at least 48% of what the club is bringing in. So,
well, as Bryce said, but it's revenue, not profit. I think even though profit-wise, I think they were 120 million up from.
120 million. Yeah, 100. That's what I'm saying, and it was a record 120 million up. So that was the whole point. So, but they're saying that they're up 300 million over that. That's nuts.
No way.
Liverpool won the Champions League and they didn't get the profit revenue raised at that stage. Granted, we spent 75 million on Virgil van Dijk, but we got 142 million for that. So, you know, there's no money lost there. So that's the whole. It makes no sense to me. So we can all see it. As I made a comment on a page there yesterday. And he said, if us average Joes can see it and just average football fans can see it, why are these media outlets reporting like it's legit?
It's because, as we said before, boys, it's the people that control these companies, like the puppet masters in terms of the sports organisations. Like they don't want it. And there was reports a couple of weeks ago that people were telling Sky to tell the presenters to dampen down on the criticism of the referees. Yeah. Like, could you imagine? Like the directors in like the studio going, boys, calm it down. And
that's not get on to referees, please.
Well, I mean, Jamie Carragher just said recently that the TV rights deal is up for grabs now, and he was literally begging another outfit come in. Yeah, somebody come in and buy the rights and don't try and control the football.
DAZN and Amazon, apparently, isn't it? They're going to be fighting.
Like those two have got the money. They've got the money. Just like Amazon, like we all love. Yeah, it might be a slight delay, but like Amazon, like their football and package, I enjoy so much compared to the others. I don't know you lads know, but
they'll bring it. If Amazon buy the rights to that, you'll have a Netflix of football.
Yeah, that's what we said like years ago, didn't it?
Yeah, $19.99 a month. Work away. You can stream as much of the football as you want. You can switch between the games. Everything is live. You know, if you want the whole Premier League package, you can either do a package where you choose like 3 teams for 20. You add an extra $5 onto that. You can choose the whole Premier League. You know, and they know they're going to make the money like that. Which means you're paying for Sky there, and it's, you know, people are paying up to £100 a month for Sky, and it's ridiculous.
And they're not even showing 3 p.m. kickoffs.
No.
It's ridiculous.
That needs to end. Like, I don't think it's going to end until 2026. I think.
Yeah, but it's up for the bidding is up for grabs now, so they're just going to come. They're going to go at it. I don't want to see it go. You know, Saudi wise, Qatar. I don't want to see it go there. Maybe BN, they're an actual good network, but I don't want to see it go anywhere else there. I'd like to see it up for grabs somewhere, man. I'd like to see Amazon is probably one that will just want to make more revenue than control the game, you know. So you know you'd kind of want to see it kind of maybe go there outside of that. So I don't know. Then maybe ESPN can get back on board, something like that, you know.
I just find it really disgusting that I don't know if you have it over there, Kev, or Con, you have it in Wales. Obviously, ITV used to have like the Champions League games on the Tuesday or Wednesday night.
Yeah,
that's 3 p.m. kickoffs. Yeah, they had 3 p.m. kickoffs, and they sold the rights to some of them, and it cost too much. So once Sky started putting their foot down, really, when BT came in, and they stopped all of these companies getting the 3 p.m. kickoffs.
Saying that though, I remember growing up and watching football at 3 p.m. Like, and that's I don't get, because the whole idea of like the 3 p.m. blackouts was to promote
lower
people
leagues,
go to the games, and people go into football games. But I'm sorry, if you have the chance to go to a footy game, you will go to the footy game. Yeah, exactly. Like, it just defeats logic, and it's about time that the Premier League, because they are missing a trick. You look at probably every other sport out there. Look at even within the sport. Look at La Liga's got their own TV deals. Where, you know, I think
NFL, baseball. I know it's quite different, like, but you pay for the pass, and we've all said this. We've done countless episodes, but the day that they actually start doing it, or we spoke clubs personally, they have their own studios. Like the amount of money these clubs have, multi-millions. Camera gear, it's very expensive, but just hire a couple of like 100, 200 crew, or probably less than that on a match
pennies.
Day. Yeah,
pennies in comparison. Like the money is easy from at the moment without having to do all that effort. That's the problem with the Premier League. If the Premier League created their own service that should be like the Netflix of football, they would make an abundance more money. They can make it affordable per the economy of each country. And that's the way you'd be looking at it. Like, you know, I mean, Ireland and England are always going to be kind of the same kind of price. America is going to be the same kind of price. But places like Cambodia, places like, you know, anywhere in Polynesia, anywhere in Asia, they're going to be less value on that. You know, they're probably going to cost them £7 a month, whereas it costs us £20 a month. But that's fair because it's part of the economy. But it would still generate the revenue and tax flow that they wouldn't even see. Because with their outgoing costs, they can control the revenue. They can control all the ad revenue. So they can decide which company just pays them whatever the hell they want without having to deal with the big wigs of television companies. And it's a no-brainer for me. It's just that they're not willing to kind of go and do it, or they're just not capable of doing it, or they need somebody that's
got the bottle. It's in
somebody who's been like, I don't want to mention his name, but somebody who's been an owner or a runner of TV stations to come in and actually blast it out within the structure it within the realm of a TV show. Yeah, like it's easy to do a streaming service. It's just it's hard to buy the space for it. It's hard to run the space for it. It's hard to get the right cameras. It's hard to get the right crew. You need to bring in somebody who's going to do that. and the Premier League are capable of it, the FA are capable of it. Imagine that. And imagine the more money that's going to go down to the Championship clubs, the League One clubs, League Two clubs, and then non-league football is going to see probably 400 million more a year than what they would now. So, it's
I do think that I'll say the last thing on this. I think that the one thing is, though, we've gone about 3 p.m. kickoffs in the Premier League. I still think it's a mad thing that the Championship, League One and League Two games aren't being shown. Like, again, some will be shown.
Some cracking games there. Like, I think we'd all, like, how many times we've sat there, like, and you've seen some crackers on, like, the score updates, and you're like, bloody hell. Like, I think some of them too, I'm pretty sure, question, some of the clubs, I think they have, like, an in-house live, because I'm pretty sure there was a lad I seen on in the airport when it was on holiday this year, like, he was streaming. I was like, what are you watching? I was like, oh, I think he was a Preston fan or something, like, but there is some ways, but that was probably through an American company or something, probably. But hopefully, boys, it's their product, as we've said. The Premier League, it's their brand. They own the league as itself, and then obviously you just have to go into an agreement with the Premier League clubs. And if you turn around to all these big 20 clubs in the Premier League, going right, you'll have more say, you'll have more revenue, you can dictate the media productions as well, and you'll have a lot more control, and the scheduling as well. I think if you can schedule a lot of these fixtures that suits the majority of these managers, they'll bite your hand off, because if you promote like player welfare and all that, that's probably going to be the biggest selling point anyway. How many times have we seen Jurgen Klopp not moan, but everything's he moaned about over the last couple of years, it's changed.
Imagine how many times we've complained that Liverpool in the last while, we've had the most 12:30 kickoffs because of TNT wanting us all the time. Like, all they want is Liverpool all the time at a 12:30 kickoff, right?
Can we just quickly say, by the way, that the City games on Sky Sports is not TNT for some reason.
At 12:30.
Yeah, Sky Sports have the Liverpool City game.
So they can change it if they can be asked.
It was already changed. It was on at 5:30, and they changed it for policing.
But you know what? They could probably make 30% of their revenue alone by selling certain time slots to these companies again, by taking away their rights to host the thing, but then not show it on the streaming network and say, look, you got this at 20 quid a month for everybody that wants to stream it in a household. And then look, but also at the same time, TNT can have this allocation of 12:30 or 5:30 kickoffs. Sky Sports can have this amount of this, but at least you have 3 p.m. kickoffs all the time. I don't know where they get this thing where they have to try and not sell 3 p.m. kickoffs to get people into stadiums. I know thousands of people that are fighting for tickets all the time that want to get into games, and there's no room for them. So they're going to watch it on the TV no matter what. You can only fit so many people into all of these stadiums, and that is not even 0.001% of people that watch football.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
It's ridiculous, the excuses that they make up to try and do it. It makes no sense to me. They look at us like we're idiots.
I'm just looking now. So yeah, Liverpool City is on at 12:30, and it's Sky Sports that has it. TNT has Brentford Arsenal. That was the original 12:30 game before they changed it. And then, Sky Sports have the rest of the games over the weekend. But I think everyone was surprised by that.
The company gets the game, they don't get the time slot. That's what it's saying to me. So if they asked for Brentford versus Arsenal, they're getting it regardless of it being 12:30 or being 5:30.
Can you just start showing Newcastle as well this season? No one's asked about that football club. No one's asked.
Don't tell Dodds, though.
No, sorry, Dodds. Sorry, Newcastle fans. But he's not getting top 4, and he's going to get eliminated from the Champions League in a couple of weeks. So it's and they're already massively depleted. But imagine moaning about your manager or your rival managers saying about injuries.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to hear from Newcastle fans. I'm not going to lie.
Even the Liverpool game is going to be semi kind of less appealing. I mean, didn't Rodri just get injured tonight? And he's out for the Liverpool game now.
It's all 9 games.
It's all Edison's supposedly injured, and he'll be fine for the Liverpool City.
I know what Edison. We've chipped Edison from the halfway line nearly. So I'm not, I'm not bothered about. I'm really not bothered about Ederson. I think he saves 30% of what Liverpool throw at him in a game, and most of the time.
I said that about Courtois in the Champions League final, and he had the game of his life. So I'm not.
No, yeah, I will never say that about Courtois because he always has good games against us. He really does. You know, the dude gets chipped from the halfway line by Charlie Adam, and then he'll just make 25 saves against us in a game.
Just the man's absolute giant, lad.
Yeah. You know, I think people just think he has a friendly face, and they just keep pointing at him. He looks like a lanky Mr. Bean. So it's oh, I like him. Bang. Oh yeah, I'll catch it. You know, so an old Teddy. But
definitely didn't like him after that game.
No, but he was the only Real Madrid that player that actually come out of that final. I love the lad now after what he said. Yeah. He heaped so much praise. He said we should have got beat.
Yeah.
But if you listen to his interviews after the game, he's top class. And
I'm going to do a Pep Guardiola here. Twice. He should have got beat twice. But yeah,
that's true.
Shame he was in goal for Chelsea, but
yeah,
but to be fair, we got Ali before that anyway. But to be fair, him going to Real Madrid started the process of Ali going to Liverpool because Chelsea wanted Ali, didn't they? But they thought he wasn't worth the money.
And then he went and got Kepa.
Yeah,
he was at Real Madrid now as well. So.
Yeah, true. And to be fair, last week or 2 weeks ago, did slate that he never wants to go back to Chelsea. So there we go.
Good lad.
That's the whole Kepa situation. But we will move on and we will talk about Leroy Sane. Now, of course, currently at Bayern Munich. It has been reported from Christian Falk, if I quickly get his tweet up, reported right here, and I'll make a big screen for you guys so you all can see. Obviously, Christian Falk saying that Manchester City is like Liverpool interested in the transfer of Leroy Sane in the summer of 2024. Now, he does go on to say in an article piece that currently there is negotiations between him and Bayern for a new contract. Right. I believe he's out of contract in 2025, but if they can't get a deal done from now until the end of the season, he will be sold in the summer. So, again, looking at Leroy Sane, once tormented us every single week when he played against Liverpool. Again, looking at it, 27 years old, can play on the left, can play on the right. Market value 58 million, but you'd guess that it'd be around the 100 million pound mark, especially from Bayern Munich. Anyway, but Jack, do you dig into the Leroy Sane stuff? Because for me, as you're shaking your head, I'm like, a couple of years ago he was amazing, still is good now, but I think if he was to come back to the Premier League, he would massively struggle, I think. Up front in what Liverpool would want from him.
And can we shout out the absolute sausage in the comments on that tweet to Christian Falk anyway? Class was it? Small club. I've got more Champions Leagues than you lot. So, but yeah, it's all fine. I love Sane as a player. I think we know the history that Jurgen Klopp has had with Leroy Sane trying to get him at Liverpool Football Club prior to his move to Manchester City. But at the end of the day, Milner turned up at Liverpool. I'm pretty sure if you give a couple of those City players the opportunity to join Liverpool at the right price or the right moments in their career, I'm pretty sure a couple of them would move. And I think Pep was on record a couple of weeks ago saying that he'd have no issues selling to Liverpool. And I think he said it was a case in point of people that have that mindset, have a weak mentality and a small mentality of being a small club. He said he'd never step in the way. But I love the lads. It's just one of them, in all honesty, with me, with Sane. The injuries have been... if he wasn't injured, if he wasn't injured, he would have certainly been in the top three wingers for the last 5-6 year period. It's just that when he has got a good run of form, he's always got injured at the wrong time in his career. But there's certainly a player in there. But I'm just thinking, obviously, we brought Ox in. We knew his injury record, Thiago Alcantara as well. So it's going to be one of them. If he was to come into Liverpool, it'd probably come in a bit more to a cheaper fee. Obviously, if we could get him in at a low price and that. But just don't see it, mate. I'd love it at the right price, and if he did come in not a lot of wages, then sounds. It certainly adds to the quality, but it goes to add that debate that we've had off camera as well with Lucho Diaz. I love Lucho, but if he doesn't start producing in terms of assists and chipping in with more goals, I think Liverpool potentially, even Cody Gakpo as well. I think we've seen plenty of people talk about it in recent weeks. I love Cody, but at this moment in time, I don't think Jurgen Klopp knows where his best position is. I don't think where Cody Gakpo knows where his best position is. So it's a bit weird at the minute in relation to Liverpool. I don't think we know our out and out front three, but Sane, tremendous player. If he can stay fit, he's one of the best wingers in world football. Just it's a big if when he is fit.
I think, to be fair, to answer your front three question, I think it's only one position now that's up for grabs, and that's that left wing position. I think up front, right wing is pretty much confirmed. Darwin Salah, and then it's then a toss up then between Lucho and Jota at the minute.
It says something when Jota, who's a forward man, is holding that left hand side position, and he drifts in too much. That just tells you that.
Yeah, 100%. But Kev, speaking about Sane, as Jack was alluding to, the fact that he's had so many bad injuries. Again, I think he's had 2 bad ones since moving to Bayern. I think it was with his knee. I think the big one was. And look, judging from what I've seen from him, or only for a few games, the pace is definitely not there anymore. But he's become a lot more technical, I think, in his play.
Salah.
Yeah, and it's. And we haven't really spoken about it, but of course, Mo Salah's situation will be another, conversation in the next 12 months on whether or not he does go in next summer. And is Sane that person to replace Mo Salah in Liverpool? Because again, nobody can replace Mo Salah. I'm not saying that. Again, it's going to take 3 players minimum probably to replace Mo Salah. But is Sane the first step towards that? I don't personally see it, but what do you make of the whole rumour itself, Kev?
I don't see it. I see him as a backup player, to be honest, if he comes to Liverpool. We need a lot more creativity on that left-hand side. I think that Diaz is capable of doing it. He just has to learn how to use his left leg. And it's kind of hard to do that under so much pressure. He's come in last season. He's been brilliant. He's been an unorthodox type of left winger. But he can do the job there. He can cut in from the right hand side. He just cuts in a bit too much for my liking. And we used to have a player in Milan Barras that used to do that a bit too much for me. And always had the head down when he got to certain areas, and then you're kind of running out of ideas. And the problem is with a team like Liverpool in the attacking sense, especially on a counter-attack, it needs to be fluid, it needs to move fast, it needs to move quickly. I was slating Costa Simicast the last few games about how poor he was at slowing down the game or whatever. But then he had a brilliant game against Brentford. So I'd say if we can see more of that over the next few weeks, then we could probably see the old Costas coming back, the one that we've seen coming in from Greece. But his crossing was better, his link-up play was better, his release of the ball was better. I used to have the same complaint about Curtis Jones, held onto the ball way too long, slowed down the play, because he was very individualistic. He was overly confident in his position. And when you're overconfident in your position, you don't see the need to pass the ball. You just see the necessity to make yourself look a bit better without trying to pass the ego. But it's grand having an ego barrier as a kid and trying to show up your best parts. But once you're established in the team a small bit more, that's when that crap needs to leave and go out the window, and then you need to play more as a team player. And Curtis Jones has come on fantastic in the last, at least since January. It definitely is what I can, as far back as I can remember, a bit over Christmas as well. But at least since January, or when he came back from injury, he was fantastic when he came back in. And that's what's at a good 8 months of just complete maturity level. He's risen the maturity level about 5 steps up. So, you've places there, you've Gravenberch coming in there. Does Klopp want to start looking at Gravenberch to move out the left? What way is that going to work? Lucho, Gakpo can be, as I said, as long as Gakpo's got the right number 6 behind him and he doesn't have to defend too much, he's brilliant on that left attacking midfield road. like very good. He's probably one of our best ones for dropping back deep, winning the ball and driving at players and then creating space. But McAllister is what was brought in to play that role, but now he's playing the number 6 role. Endo had a great game the last time. It all depends on how we can fit the puzzle pieces in behind. But I'm actually happy that Liverpool are having an overabundance of choice in these roles now. But yet,
it's nice having midfield options.
It's nice having midfield options, but at the same time, we want them to be in the proper midfield options that they were brought in for, and that's the difference. So if Endo starts stepping up over the next couple of games the way he has done in the Europa League and the way he has done in the last game against Brentford as well, and we see that type of Endo, then maybe, all right, he'll fill the gap until we bring in another number 6, really. And it'll be a good rotation for him, because I'd like to see him doing the Europa League games and doing that, and then somebody has to come in and have the hard battle of the Premier League. Because there's some teams that Endo is not going to suit against, because Brentford have become less of a battling team and more of a counter-attacking, stylized team, and Endo suits that, because he can intercept really, really well. But you put him against the old forms of a Stoke, a hardened... when Brentford used to be the hardened team, but you put him against a more hardened team, and he's going to have to watch 2 or 3 players they're going to have to try and put the foot in, and that's when it becomes kind of hard. And that's when you need one of those stocky, tall Brazilians in again, as we'd say, But or some sort of dude from Serbia or anything like that can just put the foot in, no problem.
Grujic.
Grujic was one, But
that was an experiment.
It was an experiment, and he wasn't given a chance, really. But he's doing well in what he's doing. But like it's hard, man. Left-hand side attacking midfield role. We do well with the type of players that we have, and we can change the game around a small bit more. But I have yet to see Gakpo hit that byline, and he was brought in to do that.
It really does my head in, Kev, the way we are playing him as a central midfielder. I know we've mentioned it in the past. He can play there, as you just mentioned there, Kev. He can play down that left-hand side. We had so many PSV fans when you lads were on my stream as well. PSV season ticket holders dropping in saying he's got a wicked cross, and it's like we haven't seen that really at this moment in time. We've seen a bit of a strike when I was watching the watch-longs in the World Cup. It was banging them from 20, 30 yards. He was a big physical presence on the pitch. And people might go, World Cup's a bit easier. But, there's one thing doing it with Ginny, but we know Jurgen's got a fascination of turning players into different positions. But I'll be disappointed if he does convert him into a central midfielder. I think it's just an absolute waste of his talents. I get he's got the skill set. He's a big lad. He's pacey. He's good on the ball. He's got an eye for the shot as well. But I just think it's just taken away from what he could do. But as we said, boys, if Nunes is leading the line and Salah both of those continue to develop, then there's only one position left on the forward line, and that's left wing.
I think if Liverpool were playing probably 4-3-3, like as we were, I think Gakpo would 100% suit the system. I just think the way it is at the minute, it's so suited towards Darwin in terms of, again, it's like a 4-1-4-1 press, isn't it? Like, I think we saw that against Brentford. And at the minute, Darwin is doing the stuff that he wasn't doing last season in terms of the press, in terms of counter-attack, in terms of what Jurgen very much wanted him to do. And he may be the most stressful footballer, I think, in Liverpool history. But I think that's what also makes him love him so much, because, again, if he misses a chance, he'll go and try and create another chance to be able to finish it. And I think with Cody Gakpo, it's more system than it is again, what is his best position? We don't know. I don't think we've ever known, because go think of last year. He played on the left for 5 games, then was moved to striker for a bunch of games. It's hard to determine what's his best position when we're not playing a system that's suited.
Chaos is his best position.
Yeah.
That's it. But look, Naoni was on the bench, the new lad that got the contract recently, young fella, and he plays left wing. He can play central midfield or left wing. So maybe Klopp is kind of like giving him, taking away the early nerves off and putting him on the bench. Maybe he wants to try him on the left wing as well. So, good little player. I always wanted to see Musalowski get a chance in the team because he can play left wing easily on that side, and what a great player he was. But he was supposed to be moved on last season. But unless he's like given the opportunities, but maybe now he's been kind of frozen out a bit because of his stance about being asking to come into the team a small bit too early or demanding that he comes in more than the other young fellas, you know. So it's a tough one. He's a great player and, you know, has the potential to be the next Messi with that skill set. But it's but you don't kind of tell people that you are, you know. You just kind of shut up and get on with your role, and or else it's never going to work under a manager like Klopp. So now when he's come in, he's been given that the role, he's relishing, he's given that chance to sit on the bench. Klopp is loving him at the moment, so you might see him in the next couple of games. You know, maybe not for Man City, but you might see him after that in your Luton Town games, your Fulham games, or you know, these kind of games. You might see him get a run out. And I'd like to be able to do that
as well. Right?
Yeah.
We like beating them with kids, don't we? Curtis Jones screamer. Sorry. What was I going to say? Oh, completely got too excited.
Just Curtis Jones screamer.
Oh yeah, that was
just
it.
Watching it.
That was it. I was thinking when we were speaking about the left-hand side, we've seen Elliott play left wing as well in certain games, haven't we? Under Klopp. So it is obviously not a problem position, but a problem that we have got a lot of answers, as you lads have just mentioned. But
too many.
It's too many. You'd like to see an out nailed on left winger at the football club. But it's the beauty. Lucky, fortunate enough for us, we've got 5 quality attackers. Like then the rotation. But as you were speaking there, lads, as well, I was thinking, do you reckon the emergence of Gravenberch coming into the club has possibly changed something in relation to, because you think of the profile of Gakpo, he was a big lad, big physical presence, but Gravenberch is a big lad as well. He's 6'3", 6'4". He's a left-sided central midfielder as well.
He's better on the ball,
and he's a lot more better technical on the ball as well. He's so. And even we've got Curtis Jones, who predominantly plays that left-hand side of the midfield as well. Obviously, in the youth career, was a left winger. So it's one of them. We've got an over the burdens, but it's a good thing because we're losing Thiago, who, when we brought him, was meant to be that sitter there on the left. But it's going to be interesting to say the least.
I think in a 4-2-3-1, Diaz sits on the left-hand side, no problem. I think in a 4-2-3-1, Gakpo can sit on that left-hand side, so can Gravenberch, no problem. I think in a 4-3-3 or a 3-box-3 formation, we need a lot more from that left-hand side. And I think Gravenberch could be brought a bit forward and, you know, not hug the sideline, but at least if we can get the wingers going back outside. The problem is now that we've now got Trent Alexander-Arnold playing an inverted full-back role. And because he's playing that inverted full-back role, so is Tsimikas, so is Robertson, kind of tucking in that side, but nobody mentions that. So we've lost this ability to go overlapping on Salah, overlapping on Mane back in the day. And yeah, I know. But at the same time, Gravenberch can do that, but you don't want Gravenberch hugging the wing. Look, you want these not front 3 guys, but anybody who's playing on the left and right hand side, you want them tucked in a small, but just at the edge of the corner of the box. And if they're there, rather than being stuck out in the wing, just let the wing backs stuck out in the wing back and you know, going forward. And then you've got yourself some absolute danger. The problem at the moment is that you have a lot of guys that like to tuck inside and turn inside. And we're doing well, lads. We're second in the league, 1 point behind City. We're developing the side. The side is learning as we go. Klopp is understanding the best positions and stuff like that. But still, at the same time, you know, nobody's found their ideal position yet. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe the competition is making people step up in roles that they normally wouldn't step up in. And it's helping the side. Maybe we're punching above our weight at the moment that we don't realise.
Hopefully that's a good thing, Kev.
Yeah.
So,
we'll probably see the best of Liverpool probably towards January. That's when I think we'll start seeing Liverpool.
The Burnley game would be great, now, Jack. We'll be at that one.
Same here. But I was just going to say as well, lads, like, obviously, 48 minutes. Time flies when you're having fun, boys, isn't it? Kind of enough of us talking. Have you got any other topics that you wanted to mention on today?
I was about to mention it, of course, but one thing I will quickly ask.
Is it your fringe? When did you get a fringe, man?
I got a fringe ages ago, to be fair.
Where's the quiff gone?
It's gone.
Don't be talking about fringes.
I didn't even see the fringe. But it's been about 3.5 months since I was on Connor's show. So I haven't seen him in physical.
I haven't streamed in 3.5 months.
Oh, haven't you?
I have.
I was in the summer sometime. I know that.
But one thing I will ask: does Mo Salah sign a new deal?
100%.
Yes. But getting retired. Was it today's stat come out on all social media? Everyone was like, "Oh, look at the goals!" It's like, hang on, we've all been counting them. We know where he is. If he gets a goal, he's in the top 10 now of Premier Leagues, which is ridiculous.
No, he's already in top 10, isn't he?
No,
I think he gets a goal this weekend. When he comes back, he'll be in the top 10. And you think of the company that he's with, ridiculous. Like all strikers, the majority of them.
So he was in the top 10 creeping into Liverpool's all-time, I think, in the Premier League, and then he jumped to 7th or something straight away, then to 6th, and then up to like 4. So he's smashed that in the last while, but yeah, the Premier League one is one he needs to creep into. But he's a winger, you know? The last winger to do that turned into a striker after one season. That was Thierry Henry, you know? So, yeah. So
I think if he wins another Premier League, there has to be conversation of him being the best.
But even if he doesn't, though, Con, like these frauds on social media that have never been to a game on their life and actually see Mo Salah play, it's like these rival fans, like these are the same people that rate Hazard over Salah. Are you mad? Like Hazard was an okay player, but he's more too asked about Mackie. He's a bit like me nowadays, anyway.
Is it funny that I know exactly what you were talking about the minute you mentioned?
This needs to be
That's all about you, Yusuf. I mean, you're over social media people.
I'm joking, yeah.
No, the one other thing as well that needs to be stopped. Why now is this conversation up with Reece James and Trent again?
Oh, no, don't engage with that nonsense, lad.
What?
No.
Lads, have you not seen it? The amount of people that has brought this debate back up since the international break.
What have you got to do online?
No, but it was Wan-Bissaka, then it was Hakimi, then it was Reece James, there's Kyle Walker, then it's Trippier. The one name that keeps on getting compared to all of them is Trent.
So let's just tell you, who can we find to beat Trent? That's the sentence they should be saying. Who can we find to be better than Trent? Lads, get on. So, there's a lot of lads in the back of the pub. Lads, get on that. No, put that point down, you.
No, the lads in the pub are telling the lads outside, get off your phone, lad, and actually have a proper conversation in the pub, lad.
Next up, Chelsea fans are like, now Chelsea fans be like, right, Cafu, that's who we're going to compare to next.
No, we can all agree that Reece James is a much better defender than Trent, but Trent's the best fullback in world football.
Like, there's so many clips of Reece James doing what Trent does sometimes defensively, and nothing gets spoken about it.
Walker gets bailed out by his pace.
Trent, when he covers well, he does really well. I think Trent is more suited to a right centre-back role than he is to a right-back role. The amount of times that I've seen him covering as a right centre-back rather than a right-back, because as a right-back, he's always chasing the ball back. But as when he steps in there and he puts himself into that position where he's not so further forward and is already in there, he clears the ball like ridiculous. You look at the Brentford game last week, the amount of times he cleared the ball from that right centre-back role rather than being in a right-back position. So it was very good. But look, Trent is a midfielder. He's a midfielder playing right back. He's a midfielder playing right centre back. He's a midfielder playing inverted full back. And, he's never going to, for some reason on the club, he's never getting the opportunity to properly sit in there. But Liverpool don't have the luxury to test Trent. We don't have the luxury to test him in the 6th role. We don't have the luxury to test him in a flat 3 pairing of centre midfielders of Szoboszlai, McAllister and Trent in the same line. So
this is where I disagree massively, Villa, and this is probably due for another one because we'll be here for another hour. I just think but it's as you dependent. We are dependent on the midfielders working in front of Trent, and I think we are stifling Robbo and Trent at what they do best. Like, I think if you ask Klopp, if you could sort your midfielders, and then that creates the width. That's been one of our biggest issues. How many times have we sat on over the last 12 months? Liverpool lack width. And the Luton game, prime example, and the list goes on when we've dropped points.
And the question has to come in, Jack, about, right, Trent, you love the club, you're a Scouser, man, you love whatever. You really want to play near the midfield and whatever, but the club needs you to play out there, and we don't need you in here. We need to bring in somebody from here, and then maybe go out there. But
I think Klopp said like last week, Kev, why would you change the best right back in world football? Like he is the best right in an attacking sense, in terms of attacking system in a 4-3-3. If you got a DM or you got two,
there's nobody else. This is why Real Madrid are after him. So
it's
100%. All right, but we're going to move on anyway. To move on to the last story, of course, of the video. We're going to talk about Rayan Ait-Nouri. Oh, I think I pronounced his name correct. If I haven't, then I apologize. Anyway,
I actually love this guy.
There was an article piece on him. If I can quickly get it up for you guys on this is Anfield's. And here it is right now. It says that Liverpool make instant Rayan Ait-Nouri contact, but left back moved blocked. Liverpool reportedly have strong interest in the Wolves left back, with instant contact made despite knowing, of course, intentions of his club. Of course, Wolves do not want to get rid of him in the January transfer window, but it is said that Liverpool, as you can see there by French outlet, I believe that Liverpool hold an interest in Wolves defender. Says our sources indicate that the player is indeed the subject of regular and instant contact with the Reds. However, Wolves will block any moves as they have no intention to let the left back leave the club this January, which is not surprising as he's ever present in their defence. But we'll quickly get up another statistic. Again, this is coming from last season, so again, take it with a pinch of salt, because again, there's not enough substance for this season so far. We'll quickly get it up on the data sheet. So as you can see there, that is Andy Robertson, Nouri, and Kostas Tsimikas. Of course, Kostas is in the red or burgundy, whatever you want to think it. Robbo is in the lime green, and Nouri is in the yellow. And when you do look at it, he's very similar. Again, duels and defensive actions, again, better than Robinson. Some things, but again, attacking wise, Kostas and Robbo are better than him. But of course, being in a team like Wolves, you would suggest that, again, it would be a different side of it. But looking at the statistics, he does suit what Liverpool do in other things as well.
I love
looking
him,
at it. Yeah, 22 years of age would be kind of a similar
is that player. All he is?
Like, and yeah, 22
because it seems like he's at Wolves for the last 4 or 5 seasons. And he's been doing well there.
I think he's been there since 2021. I think he's been there.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, he joined in 21.
Yeah, so it's interesting. It feels like an Andy Robertson signing again. You know, again, of course, we know that we'd love Wolves to, not get relegated, but we would as well, to reduce the price of it. But it does, to me anyway, feel like an Andy Robertson 2.0 signing if we was to go for him. What was your feelings about the Wolves defender?
Oh man, I love him. I've been saying it. Like, I hate when we play against Wolves with him. I think there's only one time that Salah's had a good game against him, and that was, I think, the last time that we played him. I think previous to that.
Well. Yeah, very pally as well.
Yeah. And like, for me, he's very, very gifted. He reads the game really well. He intercepts really early. He can tackle. He can play. He can link up play. And decide, as you said, even there, Connor, because I was going to say I agree with you totally. I said the only difference in those stats is that Ait-Nouri hasn't played in Liverpool, and I think those stats turn into a giant wide diamond, if you call it that way, if he plays in Liverpool. And that's the only thing that's holding him back, is that he's playing in Wolves, which are predominantly a counter-attacking team that try to play a long ball over the top when they're counter-attacking. Or everything in the previous seasons went to Traore or Jimenez when they were kind of trying to get over the top and stuff like that, and they didn't really build up from there. I think that Liverpool, in any window, should really fleece Wolves coming up. I know we've done it with Jada, but I think we should do it with Neto and Ait-Nouri. I think two of them fit Liverpool's system really, really well. And I think then you can start saying, right, so we bring in these kind of guys, and then you can start moving on. I think that Kostas Tsimikas could go to Wolves and become their main left back very, very easily. And if you bring Ait-Nouri the other way, you're probably talking about Kostas Tsimikas plus 30 million. for Ait-Nouri.
Oh no.
I think so.
Instant swap deal, lads. Just
it's not going to be because Wolves are going to because Liverpool have been constantly going after. We'd say that because we see it like that because he's playing for Wolves, but Ait-Nouri is integral to Wolves and how they play, and at the same time, he's Liverpool have been in constant contact and constant admiration for Ait-Nouri. So I think they've probably stabbed themselves in the foot by doing that. I think they've added 15 to 20 million onto his price no matter where you go, regardless of any swap deal. I think you're going to see something similar to what you see, as you say, with the Andy Robertson deal. It could be something similar down the line where it's like with Kevin Stewart going one way and Andy Robertson coming the other way.
Even
it could be that way with Costas. Yeah, I think because we did it with Hoover. We did the same thing with Hoover, where we sent him to Wolves. And that was kind of like a deal where they say, all right, we do that, but we have kind of first dibs at this person in a few years. This is the reason why these people go to Wolves. Otherwise, Liverpool would sell him back to his home country, for easy money. It doesn't make any sense for these players to go anywhere else. So I would 100% say that there's a possibility that Costas' contract was extended for the simple fact of being more value to other clubs. And I think that you could easily send him to Wolves and bring Ait-Nouri the other way, but I think it would cost us between 20 and 30. So I'm going to just say 24 to 27 million plus Costas Tsimikas to get Ait-Nouri. And I would take him because he's 22 years of age. He would become an absolute superstar on the club.
He is technically classed as a midfielder under the Premier League. So, again, take that as you will. Anyway, but Jack, very quickly, what was your thoughts on him? Because, like as Kev said, it does have a very good game against Liverpool whenever we do play Wolves, which is frustrating for Mo Salah. But it does seem like a very Jurgen Klopp signing, like if he was to go and do it in the summer by the looks of things.
Yeah, it's going to be one of them, boys. I think when, Grace, if you go back on Twitter, when we signed Robbo, everyone threw him under the bloody bus, before he'd even kicked the ball. And 12 months down the line, everyone's going, oh, I always backed Robinson. He's amazing, him and that. It's nah, whoever comes in, as you alluded to, the qualities, boys, there he has. If it is him, Ait-Nouri, he's a talented player, as you've alluded to. 22 years old, I think. Would have been interesting, maybe for another stream, if you compared Robinson, the 8 to 22, to those stats as well, would be a very interesting comparison because, yeah, as Kev alluded to, playing in a Wolves system would have been extremely difficult for him to be and doing what he was doing. But the Robbo transfer absolutely sent my head west when we signed him in a good way because it was one of those deals that if you ask any Liverpool fan that they knew he'd do well, is they're trying to kid you really. No one anticipated Robbo's stark rise because we literally have had the best left back of the last 5-6 years, in all honesty. And even when Robbo has a 20% drop off, he's still the best left back in world football. It's I compared it to, we had probably 10, 12 solid years of Marcelo, but I think after Marcelo's downward trajectory in terms of form and quality as well, I think Andy Robinson's been certainly the best left back in the last 5-6 year periods.
Even Jack, I'll count, not count to that, Jesus Christ, but I'll add to that. What I would say outside that
count
is no, not count to it. What I would say, I would add to that, just not the words I was looking for at all. But what I would say to that is, if you think of it, Robbo's experience that he has right now, and he wants somebody like Ait-Nouri to come in, you're going to see Robbo playing all those Champions League games. You're going to see him playing all of these later stage cup games. You're going to see Ait-Nouri coming in playing the majority of your Brentford games or games to give Robbo a chance. If we have a big game midweek, Robbo's playing the Champions League game. He's playing that. Klopp is trying to protect Robbo more with a deal like this than he is that, and develop Ait-Nouri at the same time. So by the time Ait-Nouri is at Liverpool for 3 years, 25, and Robbo is easing out, and then Robbo starts playing the Milner-esque role or the cup game roles and stuff like that, because he'll be in his 30s, 32, 30, whatever like that.
He'll be 32 when he's 25. So
yeah, exactly. So
sense.
Exactly, it makes huge sense for him to come in now, develop him. But it's up to Ait-Nouri to say, right, I'm gonna come in, I'm going to play these handful of Premier League games every couple of weeks. I'm going to play probably every cup game at the moment. And then over the next season or so, it's going to start converting, where Robbo starts moving to more of playing a few Champions League games, while Ait-Nouri is the guy that they need for the big games in the Premier League. And Robbo will play you probably see Robbo playing against the City, whereas Ait-Nouri will come in and play against Manchester United. You know, so I know Jack is laughing at.
What have you just seen?
You do look at Twitter and you're like, oh, Argentina versus Uruguay is at Labona's tonight. Obviously, I think that's Boca Juniors ground or someone's. Why? Because River Plate rented El Mocatal to Taylor Swift, and now it's recovering for a couple of weeks. So they've rented their they've rented their national stadium to Taylor Swift. Like
in our family, in our house, and our thing here, man, there's a big game on tonight for us, which is Venezuela versus Ecuador. So considering that my wife's family and all our family are Venezuelan, and her brother and that family are all Ecuadorian, it's a big game, and they've just moved to Ireland as well. So there's a massive game tonight for Venezuela versus Ecuador.
And considering Colombia as well, Kevin and Con and Chas, like they missed out last year in the World Cup, didn't they? By like something mad. Because I remember when I was speaking to you, Connor, a couple of months ago. It was like small margins when it was like a 3 points or something crazy.
Yeah.
And there was a potential of a match fixing, like ineligible players getting fielded as well and all that. And then it's just mad. We love South American football. But Salah getting 4 goals tonight as well, Con.
True. To be fair as well, we've also got Argentina against Uruguay, I think, tonight as well. Early hours. You've got Maka against Darwin. That's going to be a big one as well. But of course, we'll hopefully no injuries. That's the major thing with international break. And of course, supposedly as well having a man of the match performance again for Hungary, which is absolutely brilliant.
Don't know where Kev's gone. Has he went to South America?
Probably going to get a shirt, probably. I'm guessing. But we will leave it there. If Kev does come back showing us something, he is going to come back though. Are you going to come back and show us something or not?
No, I can hear everything you're saying. No, I said sorry because I can hear noises outside here, but there's people moving in it. There's late deliveries that are going on tonight for some reason right up until 11 o'clock, and I don't understand why. So I'm waiting on
with those deliveries.
Someone just burst through the door doing like the Kool-Aid guy thing.
Hi!
Inflatable arm, flaming shoot. What's his name? What's that?
So we will leave it there.
Me after a couple of babies, that was.
No, be careful in the sleep and you going, what time is it again? Like this. But
I'm getting takeout, lad. Leave me alone.
That's a whole other story for another video. But if you have enjoyed, of course, S3 rambling on, then please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well, guys, and go over, of course, and subscribe to the lads as well. The links will be in the description down below as well. But of course, if you've missed what we've spoken about, of course, we've spoken about many things tonight as well. A few things that, again, some people will disagree, some people won't agree with. But look, number one thing is Mo Salah is the best footballer in the world. I'm not saying I have anyone else apart from that. But yeah, hopefully you have a fantastic rest of your Thursday. I almost said Friday because I thought it was Friday.
In 2 hours, lads.
Yeah, that's true. But enjoy the rest of the international break. We will be live probably tomorrow as well with another video looking at Liverpool's season so far and having a little talk about it.
It's been an absolute disaster.
Gone.
Good call.
Good call. But enjoy your rest of your day anyway. He's just gonna absolutely get over that. But have a fantastic rest of your day anyway. I've been Connor from the Cock Council. We'll see you guys later on.
Hi, Jack. Bye bye.